Um, all right, switch back.
Oh,
Oh
we
yeah,
have an El Clasico.
we have a Classico, right? We are having French against English in just 2 minutes. So KJJ is gonna play French in green against blue English by Trakor. Um,
Yeah, so this is season one, two, and three matchups. I feel like every time you jumped on, it was just French v English, French v English. Obviously, we have a lot more civs today, so it's a little bit more diverse. But yeah, this is as even of a matchup as I can think of, and as classic of a matchup as I can think of.
oh yeah, yeah, that's for sure. And so both players in the series that they played already in, they played 2-0. KJJ was able to knock out Knock Knock, and Trucker went 2-0 against Coco, who did a very impressive first best of three that we watched. And so both players, a very good standing in the tournament, both 2-0, both very good players. And yeah, I don't know, like what else to say? I mean, we have Conquer players playing two of the easiest civs, so we're gonna see like perfect macro. I would hope for.
Yeah, so you're going to see perfect macro, you're also going to see perfect micro. One thing, though, that I think is going to be very different from what you might have seen early on in this game in Season 1, Season 2, Season 3 is how this matchup is played. I think what we're going to get is on Tracker's side. He's probably going to open up with a king, and we're likely to see some sort of 2TC out of him. KJJ
Mm.
probably going to stay in feudal, apply some pressure, but eventually add in his own second TC, and then you're going to kind of see some back and forth like that. Is just my prediction, because these days that's a little bit more how this matchup is played, whereas in the past it was just an all-out bloodbath and feudal most of
Hmm.
the time. I think it's a little bit different today, but we're going to find out in just a few seconds here.
Yeah, yeah, and just to mention, I mean, we hyped both players up, and KJJ is as number 55 right now on the rank ladder, and Tracker is number like top 200 almost, and so very good players. Tracker being a little bit of an underdog, you could say. I guess like let's pause real quick. In this matchup against KJJ. But yeah, definitely a formidable player again. Both being 2-0 for now. So gonna be a great best of three series, I would expect. And yeah, just I mean I'm excited for this matchup really. I mean French versus English. It's kind of like you hate both and you root for both. It's just funny.
I mean, at this point in time, there's other civs that are currently on my not a fan of list, but French and English both very different, very tough to play against, and you have to play each one of them differently on the ladder. Kind of just opening up, looking at this KJJ opening. This is the early wheelbarrow opening that you see from a lot of French players. Popular.
Mm.
I see he who shall not be named use this build. Quite frankly, quite often. It's gonna get you a really fast knight. It's gonna get you obviously early wheelbarrow. So it's gonna do a little bit of everything you want as a French player. So definitely a solid build right there. And English, kind of interestingly, not opening with any farms, sort of saving that wood. Sometimes English players will open up with a farm.
No.
You have a quick garrison, but KJJ is not going to lose his scout that easily. But Tracker tried. So this right here makes me feel like he's saving that wood for something. Potentially, he's saving it for a second town center. And look at this, Trakor has the edge in the scout. His scout is in front of KJJ, so now KJJ needs to go find a different path.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like anticipating where the opponent's scout might have already been, not just going a different path, but also hopefully getting to a point where your opponent hasn't been before. Um, so yeah, getting this one sheep here, so a pretty even battle here, battle of the sheeps for both players.
Listen, this is a very important battle. Not that English really needs sheep. English just needs French to not have sheep. And a little divergence here, and it's going to work in KJJ's favor, I think. Oh, it's going to be close. Oh, KJJ
Ooh, yeah,
gets the
that's
sheep.
gonna also
Oh,
be ooh.
it's both of them. That is huge for KJJ.
Yeah.
400 additional food, which French obviously loves.
Oh yeah.
And
Well, I mean, like the thing is, like as you mentioned, like yeah, he doesn't necessarily need the sheep as English, but I mean, yeah, it's for one, it certainly doesn't hurt him to have the sheep. Um, and then yeah, especially important is like 200 resources that he gets from his opponent, or like that he gets is 200 that his opponent doesn't get, and so that's basically like a difference of, yeah, I mean, yeah, 400 resources if we wanna do the math. Um, and so very important here for him for French to still get those few crucial sheep, uh, getting to yeah, provide him enough food for the first initial knight that is coming out soon. School of Cavalry being built by him. Abbey of Kings, no real surprise here, I would say. The king is kind of fine with dealing with a knight early on, if it's only one. Also, I think, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I think more like the better landmark for now for the English, just because of the fact that you get the king, which you don't get access to otherwise. That's also one of the reasons why I prefer the deer stones over the silver tree with the Mongols. It's just because you can get the Khan's hunters, which you don't get otherwise unless you go for the Khaganate Palace in the Imperial Age. But yeah, we're not having Mongols here, unfortunately. It's plain old English, going for stone, second TC coming up fairly soon, I would expect. Not enough for wood right now, but that's also one of the reasons why you probably want to save the early wood. Should go for a lumber camp still. That's something you don't wanna save up on.
yeah, a little bit of long distance mining, if you will. There, lumber camp coming up now for Trakor, so he clearly agrees with you. But so far, yeah, this matchup is being played pretty much how I thought it should. KJJ is probably going to start a night mass, and he's going to spend a little bit more time in feudal. Oh, Scout gets a little close to that TC, and
very
he does
close
live.
here.
13 HP.
That was a very close call. He is definitely aware of the second TC. I mean, he could have guessed already, but he definitely knows by now. With enough stone being gathered, good timing here for the second TC coming up. 12 villagers, so he really wants that to be there before the night arrives, which is here. So yeah, even though French had a good timing here with the night, it's still not enough time to prevent the second TC from happening.
And
then
look
yeah,
at
then
Trakor bringing the scout back, right? He wants the scout to just tank in case the knight tries to dive the TC and pick off a villager. So very smart play by Trakor right there, just to kind of say, hey man, you're not killing a villager with your knights. KJJ's build was the early wheelbarrow, which does slow down the potential for the first knight getting on the field a little bit sooner, but at any rate, I don't think denying this TC was ever a realistic possibility, and whew, right on cue, look at that, KJJ going into a second town center. So if Trakor scouts that out, that almost guarantees a King's Palace for the Age 3 landmark.
Oh yeah. Yeah, either that or well, I don't know, is there a scenario where the White Tower would be viable then? Because yeah, I mean, going for for like the third TC in this case with the King's Palace would be nice. The White Tower is a good landmark, but yeah, if you want to have the edge over French, who by the way also have the like the budget dynasty with 17 seconds villager production time, so even if you match him with 2 TCs, that's not gonna be enough. So yeah, 3rd TC might then definitely be an option if he scouts that out in time, which I would assume he will. I mean, he didn't scout it for now. He knows where the town center is. He knows about the gold, but he didn't scout the
He knows where the stone is. He's smart enough to know that the unscouted area is exactly where the stone is, and if you kind of follow his scout, he's pathing right there, and he's going to see the second town center. Actually, a little bit of an overgather from KJJ on the stone, so I wonder what he's going to use it for, because players of his skill level don't overgather that.
Yeah, they usually
probably
don't.
upgrades.
Well, at the same time, it was like kind of like an emergency town center, so he went there with more villagers than he might usually do. So maybe that's one of the reasons why. At the same time, he can use the extra stone for arrow slits if he needs them. You know, if he needs to put down an outpost next to his gold, for example, then he could use it for arrow slits. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it was just a mistake. You know, honest mistakes can happen to players of any caliber. So we'll see about that.
Couple spears coming out for Trakor, and he seems to know about the pro scouts that KJJ is getting into. King's sort of moving over. If the king didn't scout it out yet, he did now, and Scout's gonna have to drop that sheep real quick because there's a king and spears nearby. So good call by KJJ. 3 knights coming in, trying to take out Trakor's scout, but the scout's going to make it away. King is going to try to hunt down this last knight. The king is faster than this knight, so this royal knight might be in some trouble. KJJ is going to have to pull off some serious micro here if he wants to save that knight.
Yeah, it's just slightly faster than the knight with 1.69 to 1.62. But then the healing comes in here for the ooh, there's the charge. A little bit of a miss micro here from KJJ, pulling the knight in again, and then losing it because of that. There's the second TC, so now Trakor definitely knows where it is, even if he didn't know it before. Another hero charge here by the king, getting the scout.
Yeah, and so far Trakor's playing this exceptionally well, which is expected, to be honest with you. Doing all the right things. He's picked a knight, he's picked the scout, he's sort of delayed the annoying pro scouts here, and now KJJ needs to get into archers. Oh, and he's putting down farms because he's not getting as many deer as he was expecting. And these spears, Trakor could be thinking, hey, maybe I'll just stay in feudal and I'll apply pressure to this second town center.
Yeah, I mean, for now, like, due to the king, he has a nice healing here for spearman as well. He doesn't necessarily need to go castle age. I mean, yeah, of course, he gains a lot by going castle, but not as much as KJJ potentially would gain. And so if you can keep your opponent in feudal by staying in feudal yourself, you're 2 TCs, the other one is on 2 TCs, you were there a little bit faster, so maybe that evens it out a little bit. You're overall fine. Oh, there's the guild hall coming up here for French. So no early imperial upgrades here for the French, rather more flexibility with economy. Not a terrible
King's
choice.
Palace.
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, there's the King's Palace, just to respond to the second TC play by French. And yeah, I think it is needed because even though Trakor was on the second TC way earlier than KJJ was, he's behind a little bit in villagers, and he didn't lose any. So it's just because of the faster production rate by the French. And so yeah, good choice here, going for, there it is, for the King's Palace here on the gold.
Knights wheeling around.
Nice choice. Yeah, Knights roaming around, but there's not really anything that he can get for the time being. Yeah, and there
It's gotta be a misclick. King dives the French second town center, trying to pick a Ville, but unable to.
Poor scout. Poor scout getting killed.
Knights get caught and skewered. 2 knights go down in the north there. Trakor just found some knights.
Ooh,
that's always painful.
Yeah, and then there's also the scout there. So that was very, very important for Trakor. And Very unlucky for KJJ for sure. You hate when something like that happens. You hate it you hate to see it, and um, that really put a dent into his army. He's going for Abalatrice right now. Mainly probably because of the king, and then also because of the armor. But
Arbalatrier are a one-unit wrecking crew. They kill heavy armor, they kill spears, they kill everything. They can even take down, because of Pavis, base archers. So the Arbalatrier, or Arbalatiers, are just really, really just a well-rounded unit. Looks like Trakor is trying to defend the relics. We're probably going to start seeing the relics come off the map really quickly. I heard the first prelate somewhere. There he is. All right.
yeah,
So
the first monk.
first
He already
relic
got
is
the
off the
first one. Going for this one here now. So good play here by Trakor for sure. Well, okay. So the thing is with the Avalatrice, what I don't get is they kill heavy armored units super fast, but there is no heavy armored units besides the king. And there's no archers here from on Trakor's side, at least for now. And so maybe he is anticipating that Trakor will massively invest into longbows. Just turn around. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Just pick it off. Yeah, easy kill here.
Ooh, nice little surround there. He picks a knight.
Yeah, and there's the second one as well. So he's losing a couple spearmen now. Yeah, getting at least one up on the tree here. So he lost a couple spearmen now. Overall, not very bad if you consider that he killed an Abalatree and 2 Royal Knights. KJJ as well going for the relic here. So the monk a little bit too slow here to get it.
That was a good play by KJJ. He had no choice but to take that fight and sacrifice those knights, because if he didn't, Trakor probably is able to get that relic. You see Trakor's monk is almost there, but because of that fight, KJJ is able to get the relic, and now we turn to that south relic where KJJ's forces are sort of gravitating to, but Trakor has a monk there. The monk might just be able to kind of sneak in, yoink it, and disappear real quick before KJJ can get there, but it's going to be close. He's got a... Oh, he's walking right into the Arbalatrier. They're going to see him in the app.
Yes, to turn. If he gets into the stealth force, he might be safe, but yeah. I mean, that was an amazing observation and analysis on your part here with the monk, because it was almost there, and he had to turn because of the fight. So in a sense, sacrificing the Royal Knights to secure the relics. So great to see, like, get into the minds of the players and understand what they did, because at first glance this really looked like a misplay on his part. Sacrificing the knights there, not really getting anything besides like 6 spearman kills or something like that. But he secured the relic with that, and so that was very important to him.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of an issue that's starting to form for Trakor here. Maybe he's just not as comfortable playing with 3 town centers, but he should be ahead in villagers, but he is behind despite no villager kills on both sides. Likely because the King's Palace hasn't been used, and Trakor needs to find an answer to these Arbalatrier or Arbalatiers, because they're just a one-unit wrecking crew. Horsemen don't really do that great against them. They are the technical counter, but you mass up enough Arbalatiers and they don't really care what you throw at them. Maybe a Mangonel, not really sure. But Trakor is trying to secure this last relic here, which would give him a 4-to-1 split. And KJJ's... Oh no.
Oh no. oh.
It's because it was moved. It's because the relic is in the starting position. Okay,
now
KJJ
he's turning around. Yeah, he noticed, but I mean, please, Trakor, move there.
It's a heist.
It's it's not a heist really if you're like. And now he thought he got it, and it gets away. Oh my god!
Oh, he's looking for it now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, KJJ applying pressure right outside of Trakor's base. Trakor's gonna have to respond to that, but he breaks off 3 horsemen and the king to go look for the.
Oh
the relic, and he does find it, so the monk is gonna go down. But that relic, yeah, that relic is just so much closer. Now they find some of KJJ's eco. Horseman dive on top the first villager. You got one down. Trakor's getting that relic and bringing it back to his base, and he's also taking a good fight, forcing KJJ's forces back, and KJJ just doesn't have enough to sit here and take this fight right now.
Yeah, that's a great fight. That's a great fight for Trakor, getting onto the Arbalatrice with the horsemen, and yeah, I mean, as I said, like, they are the technical counter, and I mean, they die relatively fast due to their low health, but they don't get any bonus damage from the Arbalatrice. And so as long as they survive the initial volleys and they get onto the Arbalatrice, then they do a lot of damage. So it's 22 damage against them, minus the armor. So that will be, you know, if it's 20 damage per hit. It only takes 4 hits for one horseman to kill an Arbalatrice.
Trakor found the Red Palace. He's moving to it. He found the villagers. This might be game right here.
This might. Oh my god. Okay, he was able to cancel it. So he still has the resources, trying to get it up here in the backside, but he doesn't have the army numbers. His army is outnumbered 2-1. Or like, okay, army numbers a lot higher, but the army value is 2-1 as well. Has to cancel Red Palace again. So no imp for him for now. Has to put it down on a. Well, he's trying again here on the front side, but how do you get the villagers up there? They're moving up here, so that might be king going down. Ah, there's underneath the keep here, so that's gonna be costly for Trakor. So maybe he's getting pulled in and trying to bite more than he can chew right now. But at the same time, he is killing a lot of villagers. 23 villagers killed already, and there would be more if there would be any. So he killed a lot of villagers there. He's finally ahead in eco, by the way, so that's great to see. And just trying to find eco damage.
The wood line.
Yeah, he found the wood line here on the south side. Luckily for the villagers, it's only melee units, no archers or something, and so the units kind of have a hard time to keep up to the villagers here with the wheelbarrow and stuff. But still, so much eco damage. 28 to 30 villagers dead here. Found some more villagers here as well. Finally reached the Imperial Age, but like at what cost? And what are you going to do here now?
At this point in time, I think this is Trakor's game to lose. He's far ahead in eco. He's got the relic advantage. Sure, KJJ is in Imperial Age and he's got a Red Palace, but he doesn't have much behind it. And Trakor, I think he's just going to go imp. He's going to put his Berkshire up, and I would venture a guess it's going to cover this gold vein that KJJ was trying to secure. A Berkshire right there will just absolutely just crush KJJ.
Yeah, he wanted to put one up here close to the sacred side in the middle, next to the to the gold vein, I believe.
Oh no, it's a Wingard Palace.
It's a Wingard.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what? This brings me back to a conversation I had with MSN. He said if you can go Wingard, you go Wingard.
Oh yeah.
And
oh yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And given everything, he can go Wingard here.
Oh yeah, of course you can, and it's a great choice. I remember I watched a game of a friend, I don't know, a week ago. I believe it was in Lella as well, where his opponent he wanted to go Berkshire Palace, and so he went all in. But then he switched. He just canceled it and switched back to Wingard Palace once he got the opponent out of the space, and he easily won the game with the Wingard Raiders and all that, what you can get from it. And so yeah, as much as I despise, as an opponent, despise the Berkshire Palace, the Wingard Palace is so strong, and you get so many fun and strong and super dirt cheap units out of it, that yeah, if you can go for it, you go for it. Definitely.
Oh, Trakor found the gold. He knows where KJJ is getting gold. Horsemen murder a couple villagers. And looks like they're putting a tower up to deny this gold. So KJJ is going to be forced back to the smaller gold vein. And KJJ's got a little bit of a hole to try to dig himself out of. But if anyone can do it, KJJ can. But Trakor just really kind of dictating the tempo and sort of commanding how this game is going to be played.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Where's the Wingard? Rangers.
Well, Wingard, it's let's see. I saw
There
there
it
it
is.
is. Yeah. So the Wingard Palace is right
Oh.
next to the keep and the base. The Wingard army.
He's
Yeah.
Wingard army.
I
So
was
it's two spearmen, 2 crossbowmen, but it's the Treb he wants.
exactly. That's the thing. Like I was pretty certain he would go for that first, just because of the trap and then getting down the Red Palace. And the thing is, like, if you deny the 8,000 gold or like 6,800 here in the front, yeah, there's the 4,000 here in the back. Then there's one more 3,300, and then 1,700 or so in the back still that he saved up for later. But yeah, KJJ really is running low on gold, and French are super gold hungry Civ, especially with the knights with the arbaletres. Like you need a lot of gold. Technically, he could trade. Dry Arabia in general has okay spawns for the markets, for the neutral markets, but then he would, like, how would you trade? Like you would have to set it up like in the south maybe, or in the north side. But then it's like all the way across the map, and as soon as your opponent finds it, it's done. So it's very difficult to set it up, actually.
It's kind of one of those, you need map control to really set up trade, and KJJ doesn't have that now. He is able to decap the north sacred site and sort of stop the sacred site timer, but I don't think Trakor really minds. He's got his Treb, he's going to start trebbing down this Red Palace, and KJJ with some good micro splits his army, and he's going to pick that Treb. Treb goes down, and he's just going to run away. Exactly what he wanted to do, but you know what? Trakor is undeterred. He's just going for another Wingard army.
Yeah, and honestly, I would too. I mean, like, it works great. Why not go for a second one? So, yeah, for now it's not really working out that much. But it will, and the thing is, it's super cheap. So yeah, he definitely should go for it. By the way, yeah, good to see he got the enclosures here. So yeah, he's not really looking for the gold from the sacred side as much as English with all the farms set up. Even though it got nerfed slightly, it's only every 6 seconds. Sorry, so it's 10 gold per minute. So slight nerf here for the farms from English with the enclosures, but still just a very nice passive gold income here. Some horsemen trying to raid KJJ's base here, finding a lot of villagers, a lot of idle time again, and Trakor is basically maxed out, so he doesn't care if he loses some units. He's at 140 villagers, so that's pretty much the max that you probably want to go for. I don't know if you want to have much more villagers, or many more villagers than that. Finding a lot of damage here, distraction, idle time, all that. So overall, nicely done.
Yeah, listen, Trakor is absolutely in front here. He just needs to close this game out, I think. He just needs to find a combination that's going to work, whether that's cannons, whether that's trebuchets. Another trebuchet just hit the field right now, but he needs to just figure out how to close it out, because what he's basically doing, he deleted villagers. He's down to 135 now, which is the right call. He just needs to continue to raid, continue to cause issues in KJJ's eco, and he needs to start taking these landmarks down. Yeah. Once this Red Palace falls, I think that'll kind of signify to KJJ that he's on a downward slope there.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's getting the gold for now, but I mean, like, it's also not only losing the Red Palace and access to gold. That's bad enough, but you also lose like all the resources to set up. It's a keep, so it would reduce the cost of your units further, and so that would be such a nice forward base to have, and losing that is really, really painful. But we'll see if he'll actually lose it, because he has a ton of units as well. He was able to stabilize his eco, his army. He's also fine. I mean, I would say Trakor definitely in favor, but KJJ is doing fine, and he is still able to push back here. Let's see, we have a nice fight here in the middle.
Looks like Trakor might come out on top of this one because of network of castles. He's currently upgrading network of citadels, but the extra attack speed is going to just push his army over the edge. right here, plus the keep was providing some supporting fire. KJJ just continues to kite back. These arbitrary just do a lot of damage, and Trakor needs to pull back. He can't over pursue because the keep that's in there. But if you kind of look at the economy, the big thing, the big difference in this game right now is the amount of food. And look at that, KJJ trying to snipe that trebuchet, brings Horseman over, able to knock the treb down, and the Red Palace still stands. And this is just the resiliency of KJJ. He refuses to say it's over, and rightfully so, because it's not. Trakor, though, little by little is going to start onioning off the map. You see those walls kind of coming up in the south, and that's maybe going to be how he tries to close this one out, is just say, hey, you know what? You're going to sit in your base, and I'm going to own the entire map.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, it's great for KJJ to be holding this position with the red palace, but at the same time, he still didn't get access back to the big gold vein. He ran out of the 4,000 one here, so he has to go back. Well, I mean, like, this one is not really in play right now. The one with 3,000 in front of his base, so he kind of has to go back to the back one here, where there's only 1,700 right now left. Um, so that's not a lot of. I mean, you know, that would be.
All right, and there it is. It's the cannons. He's getting gunpowder upgrades. Yeah. He's switching to hand cannons. He's got one cannon out and 3 more in queue, and he's just going to make a push in the middle of the base. He's just going to ignore the red palace. Keep the red palace. I'm just going to push right through your base. And that's kind of what Trakor's going to do. He's going to end it. And again, just that onion strategy he's employing, right? He's walling up that south corner now, so KJJ can't really trade that effectively. KJJ would have to go north to west if he wanted to get into trade.
Yeah.
So this is that push coming in. Trebs are going to start firing at the production. Cannon's going to move up. You got Trebs going on both sides here as KJJ tries to take down Trakor's keep. KJJ's kind of moving out here. First volley takes down a couple horsemen. Spear's moving in. I think KJJ has enough to hold this here. But Trakor has the ability to reinforce his army a lot faster, or a lot more efficiently. He's just got so much more food, and KJJ just can't get the food to continually reinforce here. And so I think he's reinforcing.
That's the issue for now. I mean, yeah, he is holding right now. The Avalanche trees are just super strong, as we can see here against the archers and even the hand cannoneers in some aspects are holding it. But that's only gonna take you so far if you look at the eco, and Trakor being at 8,000 food at least right now, or like, yeah, it's increasing now, but he was at 8,000. He's still like close to just 8,000 resources in total, whereas KJJ is just, he's basically just going by. He's just holding on, but not really thriving.
Yeah, Trakor going to make his death push here. He knows that he's given KJJ way too much time. KJJ is equalized on the economy count. So Trakor needs to make a move now while he has the military lead before KJJ can stabilize. And I think Trakor timed this perfectly.
Yeah, I think this is a masterclass in how you death push your opponent. Also, at the same time, he was able to again take the sacred victory. Not a sacred victory, but a sacred sites. So that is also another angle that you can pressure your opponent with. And then, you're running out of time, you're running out of resources, you're stuck in your base. You can't even, did you see that he didn't even was able to get the elite upgrades for the Royal Knights? And I mean, as French, this is so painful. You have to go for horsemen just because you don't have enough gold. Like, you hate to see that. This is not what you want to do. So yeah, he was able to stabilize the eco here. Looking good in villager numbers, but it took so long, and at the same time, like, Trakor was just happily increasing the pressure and trying a few different strategies and trying to see what works. And at some point he's just like, you know what, I'll just take the old gunpowder method, and that works every time. So
just gonna respond to the chat real quick. KJJ and Kiljardy are different players from
Yes, yes.
different regions of the world, just so you know. So, but yeah, the moment in this game was Trakor just finding that red palace. From
Yeah.
there, KJJ was sort of stuck in this trying to stabilize position. He lost a lot of eco. He didn't get the good placement on his red palace that he wanted, and he was sort of on his back foot and just was trying to stabilize and catch up. Unfortunately, sometimes when you open the door for your opponent, it's hard to close the door again. And Trakor just little by little just started just using those wins to just get further and further ahead, started raiding KJJ, and that was the moment where everything changed.
So yeah, amazing game. Really great to see that, and yeah, just a good old classic. But let's jump right into the next game, because the players already started. So KJJ is playing Jeanne D'Arc this time. So switching from French to the variant French Civ. Also switching colors. Not my personal preference, but that's okay. Tracker staying true to blue. Playing the Ruse is this time. So Ruse against Jeanne d'Arc. Both can be, or like both are night civs on Gorge. We had Gorge earlier with the Sacred Sites being in a good position to generally be taken by either player. What would you make out of this matchup?
So I think the type of Roos play we're going to get in this game is going to be very different than the Roos play you saw in the last game where you saw Roos play feudal. Roos here I think is going to Golden Gate fast castle into Horse Archers and attempt to gain map control like that. I think there's a window for Jeanne d'Arc here to kind of go into the Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a possibility. However, I do think School of Cav is the more likely landmark we're going to see. But looking at these neutral spawns, they're kind of juicy. I don't know if KJJ scouted them yet. Never mind. He's Jeanne d'Arc. He knows where they are.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm kind of looking at this, and as a Mongol main myself, I go, ooh, this is like the best spawn on this map you're going to get for trade. So I have to be thinking about Chamber of Commerce here.
Yeah, it really doesn't get much better. I have to say. I mean, in generally they most of the time are fine, but sometimes they're more in the middle. You know, like both in terms of closer to your opponent as of further away from the corners. But these are like both in a way would be fine trade posts. So yeah, we could, as you said, there is definitely a window for Chamber of Commerce. But I would also expect the School of Cavalry to come to be played here.
Yeah, I mean, if KJJ was up 1-0 in this best of 3, I would say, you know what, you can experiment with Chamber of Commerce, but he really needs a win here, so he's gonna put down the School of Cavalry, just like I thought was most likely. I really wanted a Chamber of Commerce play, man.
Yeah,
trade.
Same. I would have loved it. That would have been cool, definitely. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be in the cards today. So no real surprise here. Also, of course, with Jeanne d'Arc building it to get a juicy experience here. That might be okay. That might be the other variation. What we might see, whether it will be melee or ranged Jeanne d'Arc. So we can talk about that in a second. Golden Gate against School of Cavalry for now. So no Kremlin here to, you know, for example, protect the stone berries and the wood line here. Golden Gate being like, since it was buffed one or two patches I believe ago, also more the standard landmark. Also just a great landmark in terms of being flexible with what you want to do. So I really like the Golden Gate.
Yeah, and I think what you see here, Tracker doesn't want the Kremlin. He doesn't need the protection of the Kremlin. And Scout goes down.
Nice.
Scout a little too close to KJJ. But honestly, Ruth makes him out of the hunting cabins, and Tracker already had scouted most of the map anyway, so not a lot of sheep left. So not the end of the world there. But I think Tracker is just going to sell wood to get gold while gathering a ton of food fast castle into horse archers, and you know KJJ is going to have match control early on in this matchup because he's got a knight coming on board in less than 20 seconds, and he's going to attempt to raid. But what he's going to find is Trakor's base isn't that raidable. Trakor could put up a couple walls. He'll probably just put up a wooden fortress and be perfectly fine. And next thing you know, Trakor is going to be into horse archers, which, if microed correctly, do very well against knights.
Yeah,
so
that's
what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, that would be really fun to see. I hope we're gonna see that. Speaking of the hunting cabins, nicely utilizing this wood line here with one hunting cabin on each side. And yeah, this double hunting cabin play, which is the common meta at the point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was able to push Trakor into the feudal age without mining any gold. So it's kind of like the good old ages with Bruce being able to get into the feudal age without taking any deer or any gold because of the old bounty system. And so yeah, nothing to raid here at all. Like there's the wood line and there's the sheep underneath the TC. So what are you gonna do with the knight here? You're just getting arrows into your face, and as long as you don't have your healing up, you know, like the chivalry, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, the only thing I'm a little curious about here is I'm looking at Trakor's macro, and he's almost got enough to age up here. And he's continuing to get wood, so I'm just a little curious as to what he's going to use all this wood for. Maybe he's going to put up another wooden fortress, I'm not sure. But he's absolutely macroing towards Castle Age. So, and these early knights, they can just burn a hunting cabin. That's pretty much all they can do. When they get ranged armor, they might be able to dive the TC, but you've got 15 villagers gathering food under that TC, so any knight that gets close is going to get hurt. Knight goes in, charge. He is able to pick up one of Trakor's villagers there. Maybe Trakor was looking somewhere else, but that's a huge pickup for KJJ. Just to let Gully know, Trakor is up 1-0 at this point in time. He was able to win with English versus KJJ's French. Alright, so that hunting cabin goes down. He'll lose about 22 gold per minute, which is not that crippling. One knight coming in, gonna attack the scout, but oh, he's taking a lot of damage. He's gonna be able to make it out okay. Oh, if
that was very close. That was very close. Yeah, I mean,
but again, good micro.
Yeah, good micro for sure. I think with the hunting cabin, it could have been avoided a little bit. And yeah, it's not like the worst in the world, but at the same time, it is just like the little bit that is trickling down that you would rather need. But I mean, okay, if you're going for the high trade house, you really don't care. Dropping down to archery ranges as well. So high trade house, he was sacrificing this one villager, or at least a hunting cabin, for the fast castle. Yeah, I mean, like, if you look at the base, it's extremely safe, and so that's probably why he went for that. Also, he's up 1-0, so that also, you know, gives you a little bit of a confidence boost and being like, you know what, I can actually, you know, I can risk it. I can go for it. If it goes wrong, we're still 1-1, and if it works, then I win the game.
I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit. I don't think Trakor is risking anything here. I think he's playing this to the T. This is as textbook as it gets for this matchup, because now KJJ is gonna have this little bit of an issue. He's got he's got crossbows coming. All right, that is not what I expected. I expected horse archers.
Yeah, I was hoping for the horse archers, but the crossbows are kind of like the safer option in a way, that you don't need to micro as well. What I mean with risking is, so KJJ, he's sitting at 6 knights right now, and I have 3 ranged armor. If he just goes in here, like there's nothing in here, there's 1 crossbow right now. He could kill everything here except for 23 villagers. Which, okay, I guess is still a majority, so you don't want to. Yeah, okay. I totally agree. He's not losing risking anything here by playing like this. And yeah, very well executed here. Again, I would have loved to save this one hunting cabin, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that really doesn't matter. So yeah, great play by Trakor, great execution. Great idea. I wanna see how that plays out once he gets his crossbow numbers up. Dropping another stable and the another archery range and then a stable. I would love
So
to see the blacksmith.
here's the interesting thing, right? So Tractor's dropping a stable, so it's got to be Night Raid coming in. No, he's just gonna pull back. He's not mining any gold. Like, you look at his gold vein, he hasn't touched gold, so he can't be going into knights. He's got to be going into horsemen. I just don't see how he's gonna have enough gold to support enough. I mean, yeah, he's getting residual gold from the deer, from the sheep, but he hasn't started collecting relics yet, so I just don't know where the gold is coming from. Now he's got villagers moving out mid-map here, so they're going
For a deer.
He's got 8 of them. They're just going for the deer pack. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
Wooden
what
fortress
am I
and then
missing
deer.
here?
he's dropping a keep. Well, not really a keep, but yeah. Oh, but the knights they saw it, and ooh, villagers have to run here, and knights going on top of the crossbows. Looking not. I don't know. I wonder if he. I mean, he was on top of the crossbows. If he had committed to it. I mean, crossbows, they're not super tanky. I don't know.
I think it's because he's going up with the Royal Institute, and
Right.
he wants to preserve as many knights as possible. So I'm not 100% sure. You're right. He could have very likely taken that and done a lot of damage to those crossbows and potentially won. But with the Royal Institute coming online and no knights, that's it's not a recipe for success.
No, of course. Yeah, so it makes sense to be like, oh, wait a second, I actually don't want to overcommit here. I don't want to lose all my knights. I kind of still need them for the Royal Institute tax to really kick off. And I mean, like, in a way, having only 6 Royal Knights is bad enough. If you then lose all of them, like, yeah, then you can completely forget the Royal Institute.
Alright. Tracker is moving out though. He's going to apply pressure to KJJ's gold, which is a lifeline for French Joan of Arc type civs. And KJJ sees it. He just pulls back. Scout gets baited in a little bit, and he eventually gets taken out. Tracker though, moving around. This is an interesting opportunity. If he gets siege engineering, puts down a ram, he can start picking off some of this production. And that would put KJJ in a little bit of a bind. Obviously, the school cavalry is going to take a while, but stables can take that out. Maybe knock on some houses and sort of constrict KJJ.
Yeah, or go to the right side. The right side is open. The left side, there's the boar that KJJ is taking. So if he scouts that, he can easily kill all those villagers and then prevent also access to the food there. Because yeah, okay. So one question that Tracker should be asking right now is where is he getting all the food from? Because he sees there's nothing underneath the TC anymore. He's not on the berries, so he needs necessarily needs to be out on the map. And so if he finds it, then and he can shut down the food eco for Jeanne D'Arc completely. There's no farms, there's nothing. Like, the game basically is over.
Tracker knows where he's getting food. He scouted the entire map. Player of his skill just kind of goes and looks, and yeah, he's got horse archers heading over to the deer pack because you can see the deer pack is not. All the deer are dead, and he's going to pick off a villager right there, but it's going to cost him a couple horse archers due to the outpost being fully garrisoned there. But Tracker is now moving into horse archers, which is what I kind of thought he would do from the very beginning. But get some good idle time there, right? A lot of 15 of KJJ's villagers were just idle there for 30 seconds or more. So that was pretty good. And yeah, Tracker's just keeping with crossbows. He's making some horse archers to raid. He's just very methodical going at this.
Yeah, also due to Jeanne D'Arc not getting the increased villager production as the French do, and getting a little bit of idle time and a little bit of villager kills, Tracker is actually ahead in villager numbers as well. So he does have the bounty bonus that increases his eco. He has a little bit more villagers. And so overall, his eco is looking a little bit stronger than Jeanne D'Arc's right now. Yeah, and the
Archers
horseman
lead
just
some knights out though. Oh, it's a trap.
ooh,
It's a trap.
it's
All
a
right,
trap
good.
run.
KJJ sniffs it out, pulls back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and KJJ dropped a market to fix his macro. He's got just too much food and not enough gold. And ooh, night raid in the back of Trakor's base, but
Not
doesn't
getting
look
any
like he
kills.
picked up anything.
No, he didn't.
And he
pick
lost a
any,
knight.
Yeah,
Oh
he
no.
lost one knight.
Three,
Oof, oof.
3 villagers on the berries. Trakor sees though, he pulls those villagers back though.
Yeah.
Not the safest place for those 3 villagers.
No, but that's what happens when you don't have a scout with you. You don't see anything here, so that's a little bit lucky for Trakor, that's for sure.
Yeah, and look, Trakor is now starting to collect relics. Oh, those villagers go back though, and KJJ just murders them. Those poor villagers. I think he got 3 that time, and
Yeah.
the knights just run away. Trakor is switching into knights though, but he hasn't touched any gold, so my assumption is he's just going to rely on relic gold. First relic is in, he'll probably have 2 more in the next minute or 2, I would say, because he's got those 2 in that northwest side. And this would be amazing if Trakor can take this game without mining a single gold vein. That would be very impressive.
That should be like
like
an achievement or something. Yeah, that's just a knight takedowns here. Like, look at all those dead horses here. So very nicely done. The crossbows are really wrecking havoc here with KJJ's army, dwindling numbers. I mean, he got up to 13, but I mean, compared to the time that we're playing already, it's not that much. Jeanne D'Arc being killed off as well. And now we have the crossbows here.
Crossbows are going to go down though. They're going to kite as best they can, but too many knights.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets the other ones here as well, he might have like a semblance of a shot here. Because he has a lot of crossbows. He just needs to have them in one place to just, one-shot every single knight that gets in his way.
But that was still a good fight for KJJ. He got a lot more value than he lost. But now Trakor, little by little, is closing off the map for KJJ. He's got a second relic in hand. And KJJ is sort of sandwiched into the south corner of his base. And can't really go too far without being harassed by Trakor.
Yeah, which is not what you like to be in a position in as French knights. You want to have the map control. Nice around here. Getting
That's
onto
an
the
overextension by
crossbows.
Trakor.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely overextending here, pushing his luck, and yeah, I'm not coming out on top on this exchange. That's for damn sure. So that is a great fight for KJJ. Yeah, his eco number stabilized. His army value is looking very great after this fight. And he could also himself start taking. He's building a monastery. There it is. So he is also now probably soon going for the monks here. And then taking the relics. There's still 3 on the map, so 2 actually right now.
Yeah. Trakor is in a little bit of trouble though. That fight was huge for KJJ. KJJ got map control back, and Trakor throwing up some emergency walls in his base because he knows knights are coming.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these knights are going to get here, and they're probably going to hit home.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be costly here. I mean KJJ, there's not much like as in terms of defense. The wooden fortress is not doing a lot here, so he could just roam into the base and just kill every villager that's there. A ton of crossbows again from Trakor.
So fantastic raid by Trakor on KJJ's woodline. He picked up 5+ villagers over on that woodline before KJJ was able to put his knights down. So that's just giving him the eco lead. Now he's got 3 relics. KJJ is getting his first relic, but that last relic really should go to KJJ. KJJ has a tower there.
Yeah.
He sees everything going on. So it's going to be a 3-2 relic game in favor of Trakor. KJJ grabbing Sacred Sites with Jeanne. Going to start trying to take control of this middle here. Trakor has a lot of crossbows, though. He can start contesting and picking knights. Crossbows come forward.
It's just gonna be difficult.
Don't know if this is...
Yeah, nice pick off with Jeanne D'Arc here. The issue is, like, if you're having only crossbows, like, the knights are just gonna charge in, and yes, he's gonna lose a couple, but as soon as he's on top of you, he basically two-shots the crossbows. And so that's not what you want to see here. And yeah, you can see he's even fighting underneath TC. He doesn't care anymore. He can just kill every crossbow here. And then Trakor's army is I mean, there's nothing left here. And then it's free reign here for Jeanne D'Arc, putting in some more knights here. Trakor, by the way, did start mining gold. So there's that. Did go for a second TC as well recently, just to increase his eco lead get a lead at the first.
Here's the problem. His eco is completely idled out, and
Yeah.
KJJ knows he's on the second town center. He knows he wiped the military. He's not going to stop. He's just taking his knights to the north corner because he knows that Trakor's got villagers up there.
Exactly, yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, he could.
bringing him back down.
In theory, he could just burn down the wooden fortress with his knights. So yeah,
I
just
think
like
this is where KJJ just kind of takes over.
yeah, I mean that's like beautiful example of being on 3 different spots at the same time. Just forcing your opponent to make mistakes, to be on different places at the same time, and being on a defense and just pushing him back. I mean, we're looking at, yeah, he only got 1 relic, and now is taking the second one, but he also got 2 sacred sites already. And so, in terms of passive gold income, he probably doesn't look too far behind the rules, especially on a map like this where you can put down a ton of hunting cabins to get some passive gold income. And I don't think the crossbows are the answer anymore. I think you do need to have some sort of front line. Maybe something like man-at-arms or so.
That's kind of been the issue, is Trakor just hasn't had much of a front line. And his crossbows are very squishy. They have high DPS, but they're glass cannons.
Yes.
And when the knights dive on top of them, they go down very quickly. So not having spears as a front line to sort of tank, if you will, and men-at-arms can tank, but you never want men-at-arms against knights. Kind of feels like it's giving KJJ life. And now, where does Trakor go from here? He lost map control. He no longer has the military lead. KJJ is just gonna start twisting the screws. Probably grab this 3rd sacred site, start that clock, and really just try to end this game. Oh, couple knights coming over though. Trakor gets to pick 2 with his crossbows. KJJ's knights have to kind of retreat here, but he's building up a big force, and he started adding in Jeanne's riders, which are absolute monsters to crossbowmen. Jeanne's riders deal 20 damage, but they get +7 versus crossbowmen. So KJJ is going in for the kill. Look at this, he's just diving. Knights are kind of coming in. Trakor doesn't have a big enough front line to really survive this.
Yeah, I mean, how do you survive that?
Move for the surround, and Jeanne D'Arc right here, she's going to be able to heal.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, you can see Trakor, he went for 4 barracks just right now, and now he's coming out with spearmen, but they're all still feudal age. And one by one, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't care about feudal spearmen if you're in the base with 30 royal knights. So yeah, I think he went for way too late with the spearmen, that's for sure. And Yeah, just a little bit of a miscalculation and overestimating the impact that the crossbows would have.
I think crossbows are a great unit, but when knights can dive on top of them, they don't live very long and
Yeah.
they don't get away. So KJJ just took a couple critical fights where he dived on the crossbow mast, won it, and Trakor was kind of on his back foot. And once Trakor lost map control, then you saw KJJ sort of come out and start raiding in every corner, killing Trakor's vills. Trakor sort of had to turtle up and get very defensive, but guess what? Versus a Night Civ, that's very, very, very hard to do.
So apparently, like some, I heard some people saying that is the better map. Oh, okay, let's switch back to. So we're
So,
in. Wait.
as a Mongol enjoyer, I'm gonna say that it is not the better map because of where the neutral spawn, which was KP's original issue with
Oh
it.
yeah.
As viewers will see, those neutrals are not friendly to trade like the neutrals you will commonly find on Highview. Other than that, this map is got a lot of similarities to Highview, right? You have all the stealth forests everywhere. It's really easy to kind of get lost in here
Yeah.
if you don't have a scout.
You mean like everywhere? I mean like besides the base and then like the stone outcroppings in the corners and the sacred sites. I mean there's literally. It looks like a 5-year-old took a brush and just painted over the whole map in like a beige yellow color. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's a KP's reimagining of Highview, if you will. I think it works for a lot of players. I am just a Mongol enjoyer. I am a trade enjoyer, so it's a map I prefer the original on. But diving into this matchup here, this is a treat of a matchup. I feel like Delhi Sultanate and Trakor is going to dictate how this game is played, because if HRE tries to fast castle, playing greedy against Delhi, they can just all in you and it's just see you later. So you
yeah,
have to kind of play Delhi Sultanate's game, and if you want to skip over Feudal Age and go fast castle like HRE likes to, they'll cap all the sacred sites. Um, Interestingly enough, I'm only seeing 2 sacred sites. Am I blind, or is that
no,
another
no,
change that KP made?
yeah, that is another change. There's only two sacred sites. There's one here on the right side, and then on the left side there as well. So only two sacred sites, meaning less gold for Delhi, but also less, work to do. Easier to defend maybe. It's only two sacred sites to have to worry about. So overall, um, it's yeah, it's okay. I don't like. I mean, for example, with King of the Hill, there's only one sacred site, and I think it's awful for Delhi. Just because it's only one sacred site and it just sucks for you. So I think two is the minimum that a map should have. Um, we're seeing the Aachen Chapel coming out from the Holy Roman Empire down there with the wood line, with the berries. So yeah,
Yeah, no
probably as
surprises.
yeah, no surprises as you mentioned. HIE has to kind of play a little bit Delhi's game and responding by having the Aachen Chapel on the wood line with good access to wood then and then going into archers maybe is definitely a good option. Not heavily on gold right now anyway, so yeah, no fast castle play for KJJ here. I think you could make it work. Oh, okay, let's put it this way. In lower skill levels, you can definitely make it work because you'll reach castle age before the opponent can even start taking the sacred sites. And so in lower leagues, you will definitely be successful with a fast castle play. But yeah, in high level play, like if you're going fast castle with no like naked fast castle, your opponent says, and your opponent is Delhi, they say thank you and they just run into you and yeah, and then there's that.
Yeah, so at higher levels, you have to watch the Delhi Sultanate and pay attention to what they're doing. KJJ, though, I believe he's already scouted out the. No, he has not. He's about to scout out the Stone of Faith, and I think when he scouts it out, he's at least going to go, okay, feudal all-in is a little bit less likely, but I am going to have to stay on top of these sacred sites here. But Dome of the Faith is a sort of recent favorite, if you will, of the Delhi
Mhm.
Sultanate. And I think that's largely stemming from their fun desire to go fast imp into mass elephant sometimes. I've been seeing that on the ladder. I've been seeing streamers
Yeah.
sort of fast imp with Delhi using Dome of the Faith. Not sure we'll get that here, but elephants are always fun.
Yeah, elephants are always fun, but yeah, I don't. Again, lower levels. I haven't seen Delhi Fast Imp being successful. Um, it just, yeah, it takes forever, and then you're there, and you still don't get much out of it, and then you have like five elephants there, but your opponent already has like, it feels like 400 spearmen, so it doesn't really matter, and then you lose the game. Um, but yeah, Dome of the Faith definitely the favorite landmark for now, and makes it a lot easier to get your attacks faster, to get the relics faster. Um,
Oh,
Also, I
Tracker,
mean,
you
it is a religious landmark, so you can skip the second mosque that you otherwise might want to go for.
Tracker just being absolutely mean and a menace to society. That is a gorgeous deer spawn for HRE, and Tracker just brought his scout over and was like, yeah, no thank you, man. I'm gonna ruin it for you. Look at that deer spread.
Ooh, oh my goodness, that is wonderful. I mean, like, kudos to him. Like, that was. I mean, like if KJJ like looks at that, like he'll probably be mad, but he'll also have to respect it.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I kind of see these farms coming down for KJJ, so it's like, yeah, that's annoying, but looking at how many sheep I have, kind
Mm.
of looking at, my berries under Aachen, I'm going to get some farms down. He's got early wheelbarrow. He'll be okay. It's not that crippling. And KJJ investing in men-at-arms early. I wonder if we're going to mix in some spears here.
Hmm.
But I think this is absolutely what KJJ should do, is sort of a men-at-arms spear comp. Men-at-arm to tank from the eventual archers that you're going to expect to protect the Ghazi Raiders. And he should be okay to sort of deny some of these sacred sites. One other thing that I think would be fun is if you look at the boar and the sacred site spawns,
Mm-hmm.
if you get like a scholar that goes for it, you can
Mm.
potentially do a boar pull into the scholar. It's something you could see happen that I think would be funny. And at this level, these players look at that stuff, and if they see that opportunity, they're going to take it.
Oh yeah, I was mentioning that earlier in another game where there was also Pigeon's View being played, and I was like, yeah, I mean, like you can definitely make it work. I mean, they're close enough that you can pull them, and well, I mean, okay, it might be like borderline. It might be too far. They might be like, yeah, retrieve again. But yeah, you could, in theory, if there's like a little skirmish around it, you can definitely involve the boar play here. That would be fun to see.
Yeah, it looks like Tracker is going to retreat off this sort of north sacred site. Ooh, nice little raid with the
Yeah,
Ghazis, though, at KJJ's base. Doesn't get the villager, though.
doesn't get the villager,
Um,
loses one Ghazi, so a very good attempt, but just like one Ghazi shy of being successful, basically. Um,
Yeah, Gazis have a slow attack speed. They're good raid units in mass, but not not the best. Not knights anyway.
yeah.
What I find interesting, and I would love to ask KJJ this, is just my thought process is Gazis perform okay against men at arms. So why
Hmm.
wouldn't you mix a couple spears in? But
Hmm.
he seems committed to men at arms. That's all he's got in queue. I'd be very curious to kind of know why that's his preference.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean the Ghazi Raiders do get 2 bonus damage against heavy units. Um, and so yeah, they definitely don't do bad against Man at Arms. And if he's only going for Man at Arms, you're happy with massing Ghazi Raiders. Also, the thing is, um, and that's why I also like the Ghazi Raider play and don't really like the Man at Arms play from KJJ is uh, you have map control with the Gazi Raiders. You can run around and you don't need to take a fight. I mean, look at this now. With all the men-at-arms coming at your face, you're like, oh shit, that's a lot of men-at-arms. You just walk away. Like, you don't need to take the fight. Whereas if it's the other way around and you're like, okay, I have 5 men-at-arms and then you run into 10 Gazi Raiders, you're done. Like, you can't run away. And so, yeah, you're basically giving up the map control by going for heavy man-at-arms play. Also,
Yeah,
they cost a lot of they basically cost a lot of resources as well. And so, I mean, if he wouldn't have gone for that and instead have invested in like, I don't know, 5 to 10 spearmen, which would have been enough to protect him, then he already could have been castle age or close to being castle age at least.
Oh, KJJ is diving Trakor's base. KJJ has no interest in taking this game to castle. He's just massing men-at-arms. And I think his play might work here, because Trakor maybe was macroing up to castle, doesn't have enough military here to really fend off these men-at-arms. And more men-at-arms are creeping over from KJJ's base, and Trakor's just forced to retreat.
Yeah, but at the same time, he does have a lot of scholars, and then if you can heal up the Gazi Raiders, he can almost even the playing field here. And then again, he just needs to somehow survive this without losing like his villagers. And then he still, yeah, I mean, KJJ just invested so much into this, and yeah, now he's in this situation. What I mentioned is he's having a couple of men-at-arms still, and the Gazi Raiders can just hunt them down and kill them. And if he needs to retreat, he can just retreat. He's fine with that. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was able to decap one sacred site, so overall not terrible. But if you look at the damage that each player dealt, then Trakor is doing fine. He dealt twice as much, and he still having his army.
Yeah, I saw the archers that were coming out from Trakor, and I was like, you know what? There's an opportunity here for KJJ, but KJJ tried it, and Trakor had enough Gazi Raiders to really kind of push back. And now KJJ is like, all right, I'm gonna go to Castle Age, and I think I'm gonna get upgrades and try that again. Trakor, meanwhile, food macro is very far off from Castle Age, so he's gonna have to. He's going to be a little bit slower into Castle Age, and KJJ is going to have a really good timing here. The question is, with all these barracks, he doesn't need a Burgrave, so I guess he goes Regnants. But if you're trying to, like, timing attack kill your opponent, are you really... I guess you still collect relics, right? At this level, they can absolutely do that. So
yeah, you have to try that. Yeah. I would definitely. I mean, my rule of thumb is, and I mean that's just me, is if you can go to Castle Age before your opponent, or at least in a reasonable time, and you want to try to take the relics, the Ragnits is definitely the play. And the Burgrave is either like, I want to crush him as fast as I can, or I don't have the hopes to get the relics anymore and I just give them up. Then of course you can go for the Burgrave, and it's a great landmark then. But yeah, in most, again, if you can do it in a reasonable time, or even faster than your opponent, I think the Ragnits is always the better choice.
I completely agree. I was looking at this, I'm looking at those barracks, and I'm like, alright, so as soon as he ages up, Trakor's gonna just immediately macro for the age up, because he's gonna have to match. And, you know, you have a good window there to sort of attack. And yeah, so look at this, KJJ is moving out, and Trakor knows he's coming. So he's going out to meet him, and maybe he was just a little bit too early, because that veterancy is not in for those men-at-arms.
Yeah,
and Trakor trying to get there. Little opportunity.
I mean, again, like, it was kind of like, if I go to him, I can take this relic here, because this way the Prelate was fine. Otherwise, Trakor might have gone to that relic and denied it. So it maybe was like, you know, earlier with the French game, French against English, where he sacrificed a couple knights, but he got the relic. Maybe it was something similar. Because yeah, he got the relic. That was first relic. That's okay. If he can get a second one, it will be even better. And with 3, he would be super fine. So we'll see if we can get that. That's a very, very courageous prelate here, running right into the archers.
This battle's gonna decide this game right here, and I think KJJ is gonna come out on top only because he has this huge, massive men at arms, and Trakor trying to take him down, but they have their veterancy in, so the advantage Ghazi Raiders once had is all but gone.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they're already veteran. I mean, they're all like super low health. So if he can focus them down, he could kill like a lot of them. But yeah, he's not able to do that right now. And the scholars are they're on the run. They don't have all the text that they have because that would be much faster otherwise. House of Learning coming up, and it's coming up fast, so Trakor really tries to get into the castle age.
Not gonna be in time.
No, and the thing is, like, even if it doesn't really matter, because like then you still take 2 minutes for your upgrades to tick in. And KJJ is already there. His macro is doing fine, like well spent resources here, and he can just stream in the units here. And unless he forgets that the sacred sites exist and he takes longer than 7.5 minutes to win, I don't see a way for Trakor to come back into the game actually.
No, KJJ is going to go and just shut his eco down, push him off food, prevent him from really massing crossbows like Trakor needs to get out of this messy situation.
Which is so interesting. I mean, it was like, why is he streaming Man-at-Arms into the Ghazi Raiders? They almost like soft counter them, but it still worked, just because it gave him time, and then he went Castle Age, and then he could just, spam out Man-at-Arms like there's no tomorrow, basically.
Yeah, and look at this. Trakor's trying to hold on here. He's massing up crossbows. He's got 5 crossbows. The thing about this is he just doesn't have enough. These men-at-arms move faster. They move at a 1-2-4, whereas crossbows move at a 1-1-2. So, I mean, aside from the fact that these men-at-arms are just running right by the crossbows, KJJ is so far ahead right now, and he's got 3 relics. He's got the 4th coming in, and he needs as many crossbows as he can get, but he doesn't have any food. Trakor's just completely idle eco.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not only idle eco, it's also he lost quite a lot of villagers here. I believe he lost some here in the wood line, and then probably some more here and in the deer spawn. So he lost 14 villagers. Was a little bit idle as well, so his eco is way down right now. So tough to come back. I mean, he was able to push back some of the men-at-arms. But yeah, there's still a lot of men-at-arms standing. Switching to horsemen, great choice against the crossbows here.
Oh, here's an opportunity. Trakor has his crossbows hunting down a pack of these men-at-arms, and I don't think there's enough men-at-arms here to take and win this fight. Trakor's able to pick off quite a lot of them. That was absolutely critical for Trakor getting back into this game. It's not completely over, right? Trakor could keep Boom maybe. Their keeps with village fortresses can be quite good at getting you back in. KJJ's on 4 relics though. Those 2 prelates just missed out. Oh, never mind. Bololol coming in. I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh, prelate goes down. It's a 5 relic game for KJJ.
Yeah, okay. You're happy with having 5 relics. I mean, that's literally the maximum amount of relics that you can have in a 1v1. So very nicely done here by KJJ. Getting the relics, and again, like to my earlier point with the Ragnids, I think totally paid off. Yeah, Burgrave would have been fun, but at the same time, he didn't even have the resources to really utilize it, and that's it. That's it. Trakor knows that he can't come. I mean, now he got the horseman against himself, and so he knows he's countered left and right. Like, what do you do then? And he didn't have any stones, so he couldn't go for the keeps because that would have been a way for him to come back. But it would have taken a couple more minutes to get the stone, then build a keep, then start producing villagers, and then it still takes a couple more minutes to come back, like to even out the eco. And as long as your opponent is not sleeping, which KJJ wasn't, then how do you come back? There's no point.
Yeah, listen, that was at that point in time, KJJ was so far ahead, it was the only way I saw for
Yeah,
Trakor to come
yeah.
back in, even though it was such a small possibility of actually working. KJJ's timing attack was just beautiful, and I guess the Ghazi Raider, which was put into this game to give Delhi some sort of an answer to
Mhm.
Men-at-Arms, didn't really cut it in this game because that's all KJJ made until the end there.